Previously on Gen Z Reacts.
Are you breakdance fighting?
And now, the real beginning of the end. Alright, we're back. Part 2 of my reactions to History of Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. If you haven't seen Part 1 yet, there's a link to it in the description down below. Click there to watch it. And also, recently I was looking at the analytics for my channel, and I noticed that most of the people who watch my videos aren't subscribed to me. So if you enjoy what you see, then please click subscribe and also click the notification bell at the bottom. That way you'll never miss a new video from yours truly. So with all that said, let's press on, shall we? Got my soda. Let's do this.
But while this is the general send-off for the Mighty Morphin crew and the 30th anniversary special, we also had the 30th anniversary season. And for the first time in a long time, we've got returning actors and continuations of their characters' stories, with one exception. Simon Bennett confirmed that Andrew Lang withdrew from voicing Lord Zedd for Cosmic Fury due to online harassment, which is just terrible. To quote Bennett, "I think being told he had ruined someone's childhood was the last straw." Criminy people, I thought we had moved on from that kind of talk. While the first outing of Lang as Zedd in Season 1 was a bit rough, Season 2 Zedd was great. I mean, I just don't know what some fans would expect. It's not like we can resurrect Robert Axelrod. Unless their solution is AI voice replication, which I think my response to that would echo the logic and wisdom of a Vulcan.
Go to hell.
Taking over for Zedd is Fred Tatasciore, another prolific voice actor who apparently voiced Goldar and the Putties in the 2017 Power Rangers movie. The basic voice is fine, a little more screechy than Lang's, but why is there no filter on it? Couldn't they just use the same filter they had for Lang in Dino Fury Season 2? If you listen closely, there is some kind of effects work done on it, probably just adjusting the pitch, and it's causing some errors in the audio, but there's no distortion added in over it.
Yes, I am thirsty for conquest.
It's not bad, but like Lang, it takes a while for him to grow into the role, and the lack of effects on it is an issue. And a lot of the time, it becomes generic, loud, gravelly villain voice.
Personally, I thought his voice was fine. Even if the voice didn't completely match Robert Axelrod, I still thought like the overall like the performance was at least a decent, you know, match to what Robert Axelrod did in the original. So I don't know, that's just my 2 cents on it. And you know, it sucks what happened to Andrew Lang. You know, this is why I don't like to really engage much with the actual Power Rangers fandom, because, well, let's just say they're not exactly the most you know, accepting bunch when it comes to new stuff. But whatever, I'm not going to poke that bear. Let's keep going.
But let's get things going with the first episode of the season, Lightning Strikes. We open on the planet Zordnia, which, like the Morphin Masters, actually is an obscure bit of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers lore, the source of the Shogun Zords. Right in the middle of a huge battle that really shows off the Netflix money. Sweeping camera moving around a battlefield as our heroes fight alongside the Morphin Masters against foot soldiers and monsters. 30 years, people! We've come a long way from Jason swinging Kimberly and Zack around on his shoulders in a circle, haven't we? The Cosmic Fury theme song is a definite improvement over the last two, namely in that it feels like an actual tune now. Since it's carrying over from Dino Fury, they kept the evolution, revolution bit, so there's some music continuity between the shows. I like that. What I do not like is that after 12 years since the start of Samurai, they have finally dropped Go-Go Power Rangers from it. And I know for a lot of people that's a relief. I've made my feelings about its inclusion clear, and I get why people are sick of it. My problem is twofold, though. One, it's the 30th anniversary season, and it features returning characters from the start of the show, so why wouldn't you include it? Secondly, while the theme song is certainly an improvement, it's still built off the Dino Fury theme, and like all the theme songs since Samurai, it builds to the chorus of Go-Go Power Rangers, and thus it reaches the point where the chorus should start, and then doesn't. It's like listening to the first verse of the original Go-Go Power Rangers, and then it just stops. All build up, no release. Also, I know the lyrics are, "It's Morphin," but every time I listen to it, it sounds like they're saying, "We're boyfriends." Zedd was freed from the crystal prison.
I mean, why can't we be boyfriends, Lewis? I know we're both straight men and you're happily married, but if there's anyone that I'd, go the other way for... Let's keep going.
By Bajilia Nair, the alien CEO of a weapons manufacturer. They came to Zordnia to mine it, but came across Zedd's prison. She realized that by freeing Zedd and starting an intergalactic war, they could massively profit off of it. She's putting their entire business in his hands for troops and supplies for such a war, which seems odd, War profiteering requires a company to sell that stuff, and it's not like Zedd has any money. Strange, isn't it? Stranger, though, is that the Dino Fury Rangers are not the only Power Rangers present at this battle. For joining in from the first to the last is Billy, whom Ollie recognizes both in admiration as a fellow Blue Ranger, but also his work as a scientist and owner of Cranston Technologies.
Careful! You're gonna make your girlfriend jealous.
I wouldn't worry, Amelia, unless Ollie was secretly a fish this whole time. But even Billy isn't alone. Mick is also hanging around during this battle, apparently having been the one to bring Billy here. The two having gone on a research trip to the planet. Amelia uses her telepathic abilities to fill in Mick, and the rest of the audience who may have missed it, on what happened at the end of Dino Fury. We're soon introduced to Bajilia's daughter, Squillia, who is a parody of Gen Z influencers and even wears Lord Zedd merchandise.
Do you love it as much as I do?
Bajilia also introduces Zedd to one of her ships, a squid drill, and how it can strip mine a planet to create the new robotic foot soldiers of the season, the Zentinels. I am disappointed that they are not called Zeddtinels. Still, I like them, especially since it's been a while since we had original American footage foot soldiers. Obviously, they're patterned off of Zedd and their general helmet aesthetic, and coming in 2 color varieties. The all...
Also, the squid drill looks like if you turned the Watchtower in Justice League, sideways. It looks kind of like a sideways Watchtower from Justice League, which, that's cool. Shout out to the Watchtower database. Are they watching this? Probably not. Back to this.
Silver ones that can be thought of as homaging Zedd's putties, and a red one higher in rank that obviously more closely follows Zedd's color scheme. Zedd enters the battle himself and shows off a problem that I brought up last time in regards to Zedd's voice. As I said there, word choice is also important for how a character is written and why the character felt off. It's a problem that Robo-Rita had in Once and Always too, but it's especially noticeable for Zedd. He doesn't call Billy by his name. He calls him Cranston. I don't think Zedd ever said Billy's last name at any point in the original Mighty Morphin seasons. Maybe they thought the villain trying to gravelly, angrily say the name Billy just come off as too goofy, but I couldn't say. I just know that it sounds off when they do it. Squillia summons a monster called Dewdrip to join the action.
I'm afraid I just blew myself.
There's gotta be a better way to say that.
Despite spraying all the Rangers with it, Zedd says that it's specifically designed to turn one of them evil. Ollie. And it works. A mind-controlled Ollie, equipped with the Cosmic Gateway Key, opens a portal that Zedd blasts Zato into. The portal closes, and they get the key away from him, but they've lost Zato again. With our heroes down 2 Rangers, the Red Morphin Master empowers Mick with the red Ninja Steel powers he had that one time to help even the odds. Unfortunately, the villains have their own continuity villain to aid them. Scrazzle works for Basilia now, and has constructed the Master Captivator, a cannon and storage device that captures the Morphin Masters. Oh no, our Deus Ex Machinas! No. Before he's taken, Master Red tosses aside his staff over to Javi, who gets a vision of some kind of spot on Zordnia that's struck by lightning, instructing him to go to it. Our heroes teleport to it, Mick revealing that this is the legendary Altar of Zordnia, which is what he and Billy were looking for when they came here. Apparently, like the Shogun Zords, there's another lost group of ancient Zords that have fallen into legend, the Cosmic Fury Zords. And since our heroes have lost their own Zords at the end of the last season, this might be exactly what they need. This is one of the bits that I know a lot of fans were disappointed by. The adaptation. Like Mighty Morphin Seasons 2 and 3, the Sentai footage this time is only of the Zords, coming from Uchu Sentai Kyuranger. Kyuranger had one of the largest final team counts with 12 Rangers, and their suits were very eclectic and distinct from each other. There had apparently been some discussion even before Hasbro took over the franchise of adapting Kyuranger, but it got passed over. A brand manager at Hasbro, Jason Bischoff, apparently did pitch an adaptation of it called Power Rangers Supernova, but that too got rejected. Ultimately, the decision for why Cosmic Fury doesn't adapt the suits is threefold. The first is that with 12 Rangers and only 10 episodes, though apparently the season was originally planned to be 20 episodes, so we have the opposite problem from Dino Fury, was seen as difficult at best, so going with original suits mitigated that issue and let us focus on the team as it existed already. I suppose you could upgrade some of the supporting cast in Dino Fury into new Rangers like Jenna J-Borg and Tarek or something, but it's still a lot and not a lot of...
No, I draw the line there, Lewis. No. Jenna and J-Borg do not deserve to be Rangers. No. If they were to adapt this, because of the sheer amount of Rangers in this team, why not bring back Rangers from the past? I mean, they already have David Yost. Again, this is just hypothetical, but if they had a little more money, maybe, they could have kept in, it's like they already brought back, some of the Rangers in Once and Always, Steve Cardenas, Catherine Sutherland, Karen Ashley, Johnny on Bosch. Like, you could bring them back. I'm sure that could fill out. So let's see this. 6, Billy, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that would need that. Oh yeah, fuck, I forgot. And Zach. So that's 12. There you go, 12. That's your 12. Or you could have, if one of them could have come. If I'm tripping on my words, I'm keeping this all in though. If they couldn't get any of them, they could have maybe, supporting cast like Tarek. You could have Tarek be a Ranger. Like, that would actually be neat. It would be kind of a nice full circle thing where he would go from being, the big bad of the previous season to being one of the good guys for this season, which he kind of already does, but, more on that when we get there. So, anyway, hope my ramblings made some level of sense here. Hopefully.
A lot of time to do much with them. The second problem was logistical. Power Rangers does try to match any original fight scene footage with locations that look similar to the Sentai footage, as I pointed out in particular with Megaforce, so they save money on that kind of work by instead focusing on new fight scenes with suits made specifically for Power Rangers. The third reason is toy molding. It's easier to create a generic toy shape for the various Rangers if they're all similar in design, versus Kyuranger suits all being relatively distinct from each other. Even though, ironically, Hasbro didn't end up producing any Cosmic Fury figures at the time of this release. It's a shame, because I think the Kyuranger suits look pretty cool, but ultimately I'm happy with Power Rangers doing its own thing whenever possible.
Same.
Anyway, there's a hole in the altar that looks like it's designed to fit the Morphin Master staff. They think Javi should just put the staff into it, but Billy points out, hey, this thing keeps getting struck by lightning and was designed to be operated by Morphin Masters. Maybe we shouldn't try to play with it just yet. Unfortunately, the decision gets made for them when the Squidrill commanded by Ollie attacks, transforming into a giant robot to shoot at them. Javi inserts the staff and gets blasted back. The Cosmic Fury Zords are summoned and fight the Squidrill. As for Javi,
My arm.
ha ha ha, funny Javi, the old, oh, my arm is gone,
They really
psych,
went there.
I was just hiding it,
They
bitch. It's
really
probably not
did go
appropriate
there.
for this.
He's going into shock. I know what to do. You are going to be okay.
Power Rangers, I can't help but notice that you're stretching this joke out longer than it needs to. Billy and the three remaining Dino Fury Rangers take charge of the Zords and form the Cosmic Fury Megazord.
A Megazord made out of Christmas globes. Very scary, guys.
Hey, don't knock it, Ollie. Some past Rangers were stuck in Christmas ornaments once. I just said that and remembered how weird this franchise is. Amelia beams over to the Squidrill to try to get Ollie back, but the mind control is much more thorough than it has been in the past. She knocks him unconscious and teleports him out, allowing the others to blow up the Squidrill. Zordnia is soon surrounded by a fleet of Squidrills, and everyone retreats back to the Earth and the command henge. However, Zordnia is not their target.
Time for us to finish what you started 30 years ago.
Set the fleet's course for Earth!
Back on Earth, things are a bit in chaos among our heroes since they're not sure how to proceed, but Amelia takes charge. Billy and Mick have warned all other Ranger teams on Earth of what's going on, and Tarek says the Rafconians will be ready to defend the planet as well. Ollie and Javi are both still unconscious. They're really pushing the Javi's arm is gone joke a lot longer than I was expecting them to. You'd think that they actually cut off a character's arm.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they cut off a main character's arm. In Power Rangers! Say what you want about Rita saying kill a bunch in Once and Always. This is the show going hardcore.
But he uses both hands to play guitar.
And not for any other task whatsoever. Okay, look, yeah, that's a legit concern and all, but it's just one of the many issues with losing a limb. I applaud the show for having the balls to do something like this, but it feels like the show is kind of underselling this. Solon points out that she has experience with cybernetics. He's not the only person to...
Well, personally, I would rather they at least attempt it than like, not do it at all. Like it's better to at least give it a try, and, you know, whether it works or not, for me, that doesn't really matter, as long as they at least give it a try anyway. Again, I hope my ramblings are making some level of sense to you all. You know, I appreciate when franchises like this, especially that are more like kid oriented, when they take these kinds of chances like this. I appreciate that a lot. Because a lot of the shows that I really enjoyed when I was a kid, these kinds of like action-oriented shows, like Avatar: Last Airbender, like those were the shows where they weren't afraid to go dark. They weren't afraid to do stuff like this. I mean, hell, Star Wars had you know, multiple characters lose hands. So how is this any different? You know? That's just me.
I've ever lost a limb. I mean, yeah, she's right. Just ask Dave Lister.
And pick up the ball.
Ollie's mom plans to recreate the formula that freed him from mind control beforehand, and Billy gives a pep talk.
You've all been put through the ringer. But from what I know of this team, this is a challenge that I'm sure you're all ready for.
With the season being so short, a continuation of the last season, and the fact that this is the most serialized Power Rangers has ever been, it's hard to evaluate this season opener as its own thing, especially compared to ones we've had before. It's less about establishing a new status quo as much as it is establishing the plot threads that will continue throughout the season. Hell, if not for the fact that the team will be getting new powers and just got new Zords, you'd think of it less as a new season and more like the ending arc of Dino Fury. And as such, let's continue on with episode 2, Beyond Repair.
Here's one hot chocolate with 80% marshmallows. Just how you like it.
When the ratio of hot chocolate to marshmallows is that small, why even bother calling it hot chocolate? It's just soggy marshmallows. Consequently, she got that ratio of marshmallows to hot chocolate by having absolutely huge marshmallows in it. Solon, I know you were entombed for millions of years, but come on! But yeah, Javi's awake and they prepare to build a cybernetic arm for him.
I appreciate all your help. Like you said, it's a lot to deal with.
Yeah, but the show doesn't treat it like that. More on that later. While Amelia and Ollie's mom apply the mind control antidote to Ollie, Mick begins a search for Zeddo, saying that he has contacts all over the galaxy who might be able to help. They only know that he fell through a portal onto a green planet near a red nebula. Izzy informs Warden Garcia, Jane, and J-Borg about the possible return of Lord Zedd. They've informed world leaders of the potential attack already, but since the Rangers are based in Pine Ridge, they thought it'd be good to give the local authorities and media a heads up. Jane suggests they try to trick Zedd,
saying that all of Earth has gone on vacation to Venus, so he invades the wrong planet.
This is why so many startup media companies die so quickly. Honestly, tricking Lord Zedd as if that's gonna defeat him. Meanwhile,
let me just say, I am so happy that they significantly cut down the amount of appearances that Jenna and J-Borg would have had here in Cosmic Fury, because I've made it well known that my least favorite aspect about Dino Fury was them. Like, I never found them to be funny. I only found them to be annoying most of the time. But at this point, I've said all that I needed to say about the two of them. Just watch this video and skip to the 29-minute, 42-second mark. That pretty much covers it all. Anyway, let's get back to this.
Meanwhile, Ollie awakens, but the antidote had no effect, and they're forced to lock him in the medical bay. Amelia asks Ollie's mom how she can be so calm given the situation.
I am terrified, but putting out that vibe doesn't help. Instead, I'm focusing my energy on the facts.
Which is admirable, but it's not great drama. And that's the big issue with this situation, Javi's arm, and a couple of other things to come. The Rangers confront this stuff with professionalism, calm, and only mild sadness about the more depressing aspects of it. But this is a television show, a narrative, and you need to give your characters a chance to experience harsh things and react as if they were harsh things. Javi's arm is the perfect example of this. He gets kind of bummed out about it, and that's it. He's not given a chance to truly despair, to move through it. Where's his outburst about how unfair it is that he suffered for doing the right thing? Where's him breaking down in tears when he realizes an activity that used to be simple to him is now incredibly difficult? Where's the frustration when everyone's trying to be helpful, trying to be supportive and cheer him up, but they just don't understand the pain he's going through and there's nothing they can say or do to help him? Yes, he will ultimately get through it. That's the point of the arc. But the writing is restrictive, and thus it damages the drama for the audience. Sure, it's for kids, but if you weren't going to address the realities that come with someone developing a handicap thanks to losing a limb, why bother doing it at all? If it's about representation, which, hey, that's a good reason, why didn't you just start with the character like that? What we get from it is fine, but it could have been great. The two theorize that the infection is spread to Ollie's morphing energy itself.
Again, I understand Lewis's frustration with that, or his issues with that, but like I said before, I'd rather that they at least attempt it as opposed to just completely not do anything like that and just play it safe. I appreciate when these kinds of things take those kinds of chances because it shows that they're willing to try, that they want to at least go somewhat the extra mile. Even if they don't fully succeed, it's better to at least try it than to just not try at all. I said that before, right? I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did. I think I'm done with this. Anyway, let's keep going.
Corrupting it. Thus, the only way to free him from the mind control would be to sever his connection to the grid, which would mean destroying his Dino-Henge statue. Izzy, meanwhile, prepares to go to college with Fern, deciding not to tell her the details of what's going on to keep her from worrying. Aw, we even get a little cheek kiss between the two. I love them.
Yeah.
At least one of my ships survived. Oh, and for anyone last time who posted homophobic or prejudiced comments when I talked about Izzy being the first lesbian in the franchise's TV seasons.
Leave any bigotry in your quarters. There's no room for it on the bridge.
The Rangers are called into action as Dewdrip attacks in a mega squid drill, deciding to take the fight to it in orbit rather than risk it happening on the planet. Javi gets his cybernetic arm, but it's a little unwieldy, not quite synchronized with his brain yet. And yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it, Dave Lister?
That's rubbish.
The arm is designed to be adaptive, so it'll eventually sync with him properly, but his flailing uncovers a great big red button that must never ever be pushed. In the meantime, Amelia and Ollie's mom have come up with a plan to use energy from the morphing grid to purge the corrupted energy from Ollie's system. They decide not to wait since they need the team up to full strength, so Billy and Ion are tasked with distracting anyone who comes to Dino-Henge, while Izzy uses a key to camouflage the area. Unfortunately, this is also when Fern decides to stop by, looking for Izzy. Javi goes to retrieve her, and strangely enough, his cybernetic arm is still visible on his Ranger outfit. I'm curious why that would be. Ranger suits have aged up a child, fit a large dog snout into a more human-shaped helmet, and we've had robotic Rangers before. Why wouldn't it just adjust to the presence of the arm? I mean, visually it's cool, it's just unusual. Javi brings her inside, and they force Ollie outside to try to purge his system, but it doesn't work. The blast forces Izzy down and the camouflage fails, allowing Zedd to beam down and destroy all but Ollie's Dino-Henge statue. And Ollie's is only spared because he swears fealty to Zedd, even proving he's still under his control by throwing his sword right at Amelia's face and scarring it.
I do love an evil ranger.
Now let's put a really cheap Zentai suit with no helmet on you to complete the look. The Rangers retreat back into the command henge.
I want a squid drill drilling down into their base until each one of those ranger ninnies are buried in dirt.
Ah, yes, I remember. The command henge's one weakness. Drills. And since we already established it earlier in the episode, they have to use the great big red button that must never ever be pushed. It's a mass teleportation system, transporting the entire command center to another planet called Eridus. It's the farthest uninhabited but habitable planet from Earth, with similar atmosphere and gravity. It also burns out the system, so it's a one-way trip and no way back, especially without their powers. Amelia gives the pep talk again.
If we just focus on one problem at a time, we'll get through.
Yeah, she's got it right. This is no big.
Oh yeah? This is no big?
Don't be a Debbie Downer, Fern. This is your big chance to spend some quality time with your girlfriend away from school. This leads us to episode 3, Off Grid. While Javi tries to relearn to play his guitar with the cybernetic arm, Billy recounts to the others how he lost his powers once.
After that, I became a wolf ninja.
Oh, that's quite the downgrade from dinosaur.
Yeah, a lot of toy companies seem to think the same thing. Recalling how the Morphin Masters restored their powers before, and with access to Master Red Staff, Billy starts working on a way to get our heroes new powers. Their main communication system doesn't have the range to reach Earth, so they decide to reconfigure the antenna Zato had used last season to contact the Rafconians to act as a more powerful transmitter. Fern discovers blueprints for a plan to reconfigure the command henge into a spaceship, and while at first the two are supportive and happy, a wedge begins to form up between the two as Izzy insists on Fern staying behind to help with the interior of the ship instead of heading outside, worried about her. This subplot doesn't really go very far, so I might as well talk about it here. When the season was intended to be 20 episodes, the plan was to have the two temporarily break up, a result of Izzy being overly protective of Fern. They would have gotten back together, of course, but dropping it does mean that Izzy doesn't have as much of a plot this season. Stuff will still happen, but much like the lack of drama with Javi's arm, it means that potential character conflict and drama gets pushed aside. While they set up the transmitter, Ion comes along to gather potential food. However, he comes across a hatching egg, which reveals this little creature, and I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Silky from the Teen Titans animated series. It attacks Ion, who nicknames it a scuttleworm, eats the food he gathered, and then almost instantly transforms into a more monstrous form. They may not be able to morph anymore, but they do still have swords so they can fight. Javi quickly learns just how strong his cybernetic arm is and is able to force the creature away. With the transmitter up, they're able to receive signals from Earth and learn that the planet is undergoing a full-scale invasion. Thankfully, they actually mention that other Power Rangers teams are fighting it, but General Shaw reveals that there's some sort of force field around the planet that's preventing the Rangers from summoning Zords. They decide not to tell the Earth where they are. After all, they're still vulnerable, and Zedd might decide to send some forces to wipe them out. Although I'm sure inputting your credit card information will be fine. In Osaka, Ollie reaches his mom and claims that the grid energy did cure him, but he had to deceive Zedd. He's looking for his team, but while she hasn't been able to contact them, she did get a message from Mick, who thinks he's found where Zato ended up, the planet Lavina. Because evil is stupid, Ollie drops the act and says he'll go after Zato to attract the Rangers and destroy them right in front of his mom instead of keeping up the deception. While the Rangers deal with the scuttleworm returning,
I just want to get this out of the way. I love Evil Ollie. I love, like, you can tell the actor playing him really had fun, really just kind of like embracing, you know, the darker sides of the character with that. Like, I love Evil Ollie in this. He's great. He really is. And they haven't shown it yet here, but he wears this really cool trench coat a bit later on in the season that, you know, it just oozes evil. Ooze? Anyway, let's keep going.
Things are getting lit on Zedd's ship.
I am extremely confused, and I feel so old.
In my day, we took over juice bars to do this. It's just weird if we're doing it for a phone camera. Ollie tells Zedd about Zato's location and wants a team of monsters to go after him. Zedd agrees, telling him to take Squillia's dancing team while she finishes conquering Earth.
But Earth sucks!
Agreed.
Well, can't argue with that. Got our number. Zedd himself has another world he has in mind to conquer. Billy completes his work, unveiling the new Cosmic Fury Morphers.
I kept the dinosaur theme. It just felt right.
I don't know, man. Dinosaur to wolf ninja might be a downgrade, but dinosaurs to space feels like an upgrade. In any case, I like the Morphers, an original creation of this series, obviously.
Cool.
As stated, the dinosaur motif harkens to their previous powers, and now instead of the dino keys, they have cosmic orbs as their power source, a hatch opening up on top to lock them in. The new morphing sequence is also still similar to the Dino Fury one, though now they float up into the grid pattern of the dinosaur, then swoop their hands down over their faces to form their helmets. It's pretty cool. But oh boy, it's time. Time to talk about the suits.
Yep.
Ooh boy, the suits. I freaking love these suits. I am so confused by so many people who kept ragging on these things. One person even saying in the comments, oh man, I can't wait for you to tear the Cosmic Fury suits apart.
I'll let Lewis talk about the suits first, but I have my own thoughts as well, and they're not the ones you'd expect. So, proceed, Lewis.
Like these suits. I've been complaining for a long while now about the suits caring more about their unique design elements instead of their colors. Finally, we have suits again that are focused on the individual colors, and the unique design elements are a complement to them instead of overriding things. Yeah. Yes, the Kyuranger suits are cool, but they're also very busy, a little over-designed, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially when all the suits are relatively unique, but I think these suits are really sleek. Yeah, the foam outer portions on the torso is probably not necessary, but honestly, it's not distracting when the suits are in action and the fake muscles on them are more subtle than you'd think. I love the silver and gold highlights, and the shield is evocative of the Green Ranger shield from Mighty Morphin while still being its own thing. The helmets are carried over from Dino Fury, kind of like how I suggested they could work back with the powers transition of Mighty Morphin Season 3. Honestly, I kind of like these better than the Dino Fury suits. And hell, even Amelia looks like a massive upgrade, what with that very dark pink outfit. Yeah, now that she's the Red Ranger, Amelia's worried that this means Zato's dead again.
No. If the morphing grid chose you to be the Red Ranger, it means it's reacting to something within you.
And indeed, Amelia in these 3 episodes has stepped up to be the new leader. Oh, and I should note, the theme song has been reflecting the Ranger's powers, showing...
I wish they kept the scar for Amelia. That it's like if Javi can have the robot arm, why can't she have a scar? I don't know. Maybe there was like some like note from Hasbro like, okay, we can still allow you know, the arm to be off, but we can't have a scar on one of our characters' faces. We still need to sell toys, despite the fact that they didn't make much toys for Cosmic Fury, as Lewis has said already. So I don't know. That's just what I would have done. Now that he's gotten most of his thoughts on the suits out of the way, I actually do agree with Lewis. I don't mind the suits. I don't mind them at all. Like, I get the complaints. I do. I get the complaints. Personally, I think they're fine. I like the shield on their shoulders. Again, like he said, it's very reminiscent of the Mighty Morphin Green Ranger and even the White Ranger as well. You know, I think it's fine. It looks fine. You know, I'm glad they kept the helmets. I admire that they made Amelia the Red Ranger now. In fact, you know, if they did, you know, going back to what I had said before about about bringing back other Rangers from the past, if they had brought back, let's say, Catherine Sutherland as Kat, you know, having her be there to see a fellow Pink Ranger become a Red Ranger, that would actually be really neat. There could be a nice little moment between the two. But I don't know. That's just what I would have done. I'm happy with what we got anyway. So let's press on.
Showing off only Dino Fury suits initially, then transitioning now into the Cosmic Fury suits, and a darker Dino Fury version for Ollie. The episode ends with the team receiving a new transmission from Mick, updating that Zato is on Lavina, but now Zedd's forces have come too. With their powers restored, the Rangers decide to give them a test drive and take the Zords on a rescue mission, bringing us to episode 4, Teamwork. Ollie and his team of dancing idiots are hunting for Zato when they come across Mick. They're about to take him prisoner when our heroes show up to save the day. Ollie shows off that Scrozzle's modified his own morpher, giving him a darker, more evil version of his Dino Fury powers. It's a bit over-designed in my opinion, but no biggie.
Red doesn't suit you!
Well, bitter isn't a good color on you!
It's a shame how such different career paths can hurt a relationship. Despite Ollie's attempts to lead the monsters, most end up getting blasted and he's forced to retreat.
Those new suits crush the competition. And those weapons, mwah.
Boy, I hope somebody makes toys of those to sell! Nick reports that the planet is mostly one big forest aside from a single city, and they soon locate the impact crater where Zedd crashed. They find some torn clothes and debris from his tech. They follow the trail they think he took, Ollie close behind and observing the plant life actually defending itself if it's damaged in any way. The Rangers observe the same, and Amelia mind melds with a tree, realizing that the forest is all one being, a massive sentient life form of plant life. It shows them images of Zedd crashing and coming across a glowing tree. Sensing that he was dying, it drew him inside of it to keep him safe while he healed. Ollie blasts them into some plants, which instinctively trap the Rangers upon thinking they're being attacked, and says he's going after Zedd himself. He's smart enough to leave some Sentinels to guard them, but of course Ion and Amelia can use their telepathy to communicate with the creature to get freed. As such, the forest drops a log on the Sentinels. Wait, did it break itself to do that? Isn't that like cutting off your own finger to stab someone with the fingernail? While the Rangers engage Ollie's squidrill, Ion moves ahead and finds an unconscious Zedd. He tries to use his telepathy on him, but can't read him. Still, he wakes up and Ion thanks the forest for keeping him safe. The forest responds and tells Zedd to appreciate the time he has left.
Did that tree just talk? You talked to it first.
Well, yeah, you guys actually wandered into a colony of Entwives. Nick heads off to protect his own home from potential attack while the rest of the team returns to the command henge, where they give Zedd his cosmic orb and he transforms into the Zenith Ranger, which has a very spiffy cape and he can wield the Master Morpher staff.
Wow, slick color, dude.
It's beige. Okay, technically champagne, but come on, the outfit is slick, not the color. Solon Fern and
I like the Zenith Ranger costume, and I prefer to refer to it as a champagne color, not beige. You know, just like what Russell Curry himself refers to it with as being the Champagne Ranger, but they can't say he's the Champagne Ranger because, you know, this is still a kid's show. Anyway, let's keep going.
And Billy haven't been resting on their laurels either, as they've begun the process of converting the base into a ship per the blueprints. And they're gonna need it, as we soon discover what planet Zedd decided to conquer and make his own home base. Eltar, Zordon's homeworld. Ollie reports his failure, confused why teamwork didn't win through. Zedd is actually amused by this, probably still riding high on conquering the planet, and says that he sees great potential in Ollie, beginning to groom him in the ways of evil.
The true path to power is to only look out for yourself.
Good enough, Zedd, but you need to add some flair to it, like this.
You must serve no master but your ambition.
Anyway, let's move on to the next episode, Rock Out. Blitzblast is still transmitting from Earth and reports that Zedd has set up prisons all around the planet that are holding anyone who's been resisting the takeover. The various Ranger teams have failed to break them open, and they've evidently been taken as well. Mick transmits them a bit from Space CNN or something, reporting on Bejilia locating an ancient Dragon Zord on a planet she's mining on, with the clear intention of having Ollie pilot it once it's excavated. Billy suspects that it's a lost member of the Cosmic Fury Zords, and they all agree that they need to keep it out of the villain's hands, even though this is most likely a trap. Javi comes up.
That dude kind of looked like a weird, like, inverse version of Beetlejuice. The guy that was, like, standing next to Bejilia. He kind of looks like what would have happened if Danny Elfman not only did the music for Beetlejuice, but also played Beetlejuice as well. Anyway, let's keep going.
With the plan. They'll disguise themselves as a monster thrash metal band, distract the troops and miners, while Zedd sneaks up to the Zord and uses the Morphin Master staff to reactivate it. This is an episode that would have contributed to the Fern and Izzy subplot, since Fern volunteers to go along, being the only other person who can play an instrument, much to Izzy's objection. Our heroes arrive.
We're a band called, MeatChrome.
Nice execution.
You're doing terrific.
They set up and start playing. They're okay, but they're no Bulk and Skull.
Oh, yeah.
Shout! Let it all out! These are the things we can do without, come on! Ironically, the song continually calls out for people to shout, yet I realized one of the weird issues with this season, nobody shouts. There's no yelling. It's always at normal levels. I don't know if this is a technical issue because of their equipment and they're afraid of peaking, or if for some reason they're just not allowed to shout, but it makes moments that should be intense feel a bit more lifeless. It's not a huge detriment, but I noticed it regardless. Ollie sees through the disguise and they morph.
There will be no encores.
Hey, MeatChrome is a classic band. I will die on that hill, and that song, mwah, beautiful.
I am O-P-E, the Emperor of Evil.
Somewhere Anthony Fantano was just like, I'm feeling a light 4. Love you, Melon.
Still, the plan succeeds, and they successfully retrieve the Zord. However, before they leave with it, Ollie slaps a tracking device on it. Back at the command henge, they get a secret transmission from Tarek, who reports that a ton of civilians have formed a resistance alongside the Rafconians. They have a spy on the inside who's helping them, and that spy's name was General Hux. Said spy has already uncovered that each squidrill is projecting part of the anti-Zord force field. As a result, if you destroy even one of them, you can punch a hole in it. He tells them to contact them on that frequency to coordinate their plans for the counterattack. On Eltar, we learn that Squilia's got a boyfriend.
He's so dreamy.
Ooh, I don't know, Squilia. That looks like the kind of guy who's got two sides to him. Anyway, thanks to the tracking device, Ollie and...
I think this is a good place to leave it off for now. Especially considering who's going to be popping up pretty soon. So, yeah. So that's going to be part 2 of my reactions to History of Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. Come back next time for part 3. So let me know what you think of Cosmic Fury in the comments down below. And as always, if you like what you saw here, then feel free to click that thumbs up button, as it helps me quite a bit. Share this with your friends, and if you haven't already, then please do subscribe. And like I said before, click the little notification bell at the bottom. That way you'll never miss a video from yours truly. Also, I have a couple new t-shirt designs in the works right now, so I'll keep you all posted on that. So until next time, I'm Marc Aquino. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Marc Aquino YouTube channel.